Good morning, my friends out there in Cindy's Corner. It's so good to see you today. And boys and girls, if you have the book Red Riding Hood, go get it so that you can follow along. And while they're getting their book, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't subscribed, you don't want to miss Storytime with Cindy. So go ahead and hit that subscribe so you can share me with your friends. Make my day and share me. All right, for my AR testers, this is a level 3-2. 3-2. This is Red Riding Hood, excuse me, is our title page. It is retold and illustrated, so that's the author and has retold the story, and illustrated by James Marshall. A long time ago, in a simple cottage beside the deep, dark woods, there lived a pretty child called Red Riding Hood. She was kind and considerate, and everybody loved her. One afternoon, Red Riding Hood's mother called to her. "Granny isn't feeling up to snuff today," she said, "so I've baked her favorite custard and a little surprise. Be a good girl and take it to her, will you?" Red Riding Hood was delighted. She loved going to Granny's, even though it meant crossing the deep, dark woods. When the custard had cooled, Red Riding Hood's mother wrapped it up and put it in a basket. "Now, whatever you do," she said, "go straight to Granny's. Do not tarry. Do not speak to any strangers." "Yes, Mama," said Red Riding Hood. And away she goes. Excuse me. Before long, she was in the deepest part of the woods. "Oh," she said, "this is scary." Suddenly, a large wolf appeared. "Good afternoon, my dear," he said. "Care to stop for a little chat?" "Oh, gracious me," said Red Riding Hood. "Mama said not to speak to any strangers." But the wolf had such charming manners. "And where are you going, sweet thing?" he said. "I'm on my way to visit Granny, who lives in the pretty yellow house on the other side of the woods," said Red Riding Hood. "She's feeling poorly, and I'm taking her a surprise." "You don't say," said the wolf. Just then, he had a delightful idea. "No reason why I can't eat them both," he thought. "Allow me to escort you," he said. "You never know what might be lurking about." "You're too kind," said Red Riding Hood. Beyond the forest, they came to a patch of sunflowers. "Why not pick a few?" suggested the wolf. "Grannies love flowers, you know." But while Red Riding Hood was picking a pretty bouquet, the clever wolf hurried on ahead to Granny's house. "Who is it?" called out Granny. "It is I, your delicious darling granddaughter," said the wolf in a high voice. "The door is unlocked," said Granny. "Surprise!" cried the wolf. Granny was furious at having her reading interrupted. "Get out of here, you horrid thing!" she cried. On her finger, "Get out of here!" But the wolf gobbled her right up. He didn't even bother to chew. "Tasty," he said, patting his belly. "So tasty." Just then, he heard footsteps on the garden path. "Here comes dessert." And losing no time, he put on Granny's cap and glasses, jumped into bed, and pulled up the covers. Look at that sneaky man. Put those glasses down on his nose. "Who is it?" he called out in his sweetest Granny voice. "It is I, your little granddaughter," said Red Riding Hood. "The door is unlocked," said the wolf. Red Riding Hood was distressed at seeing her grandmother so changed. "Why, Granny," she said, "what big eyes you have." "The better to see you with, my dear," said the wolf. "And Granny, what long arms you have." "The better to hug you, my dear," said the wolf. "And Granny, what big teeth you have." And he gobbled her right up. "I'm so wicked," he said. "So wicked." But really, he was enormously pleased with himself. And having enjoyed such a heavy meal, he was soon snoring away. A hunter passing by was alarmed by the frightful racket. "That doesn't sound like Granny," he said. See the hunter? What do you think's going to happen? Share it with your neighbors. Okay. And so the brave hunter jumped in the window, killed the sleeping wolf, and cut him open. Out jumped Granny and Red Riding Hood. "We're ever so grateful," said Red Riding Hood. "That wicked wolf won't trouble you again," said the hunter. "It was so dark in there, I couldn't read a word," said Granny. Red Riding Hood promised never, ever to speak to another stranger, charming manners or not. And she never did. She's like, "Not talking to you. Speak to the hand, because I'm not listening." How many of you thought the story was going to end like that? When you saw the hunter, what did you think he was going to do? Did you think the wolf was going to eat the little girl, eat Red Riding Hood? How has this story been different from the one that you've heard before? Or what would you have done if you were Red Riding Hood? Would you have spoke to the wolf? Would you have been afraid in the dark? What would you have done? What would you have done if you were the hunter? Tell me in the comments. What's your friends? And then I'm going to tell you this, teachers, parents. Have your kids to retell the story. And you can have like 2 or 3 in a group, and they can act it out and retell the story of Red Riding Hood, Retold. I hope you enjoyed Red Riding Hood Retold. And make sure you share Cindy's Corner with your friends and colleagues. And give us a thumbs up. And most importantly, give somebody a hug and tell them you love them. Have a great day.